Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea, welcome back to your Chelsea news. Chelsea officially announced Liam Delap as their player and we can confirm his shirt number. Cole Palmer has also had a shirt number change ahead of the Club World Cup. Chelsea and Hugo Ekitike have a verbal agreement. West Ham have rejected a bid for Mohamed Kudos from Chelsea in the last 24 hours. Nicolas Jackson speaks out on the competition for his position next season and it looks like the dream of signing Victor Osimhen could be over. Now of course I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments.
And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025.
Kicking things off, Guiu has reported that sources close to Nicolas Jackson add he is happy where he is and he's ready to compete. Guiu can leave on loan for a guaranteed game time. I really like this. This is short, sweet and to the point, and it's close sources to Nicolas Jackson. So we're talking friends, players, family, people around him close, knowing that Chelsea are going in to get a new number 9, which they have secured in Liam Delap, and potentially going in and getting that second striker, which is looking likely to be Hugo Ekitike currently, which we'll speak about later on in the video, is really good news. It's really good news that Jackson can be self-aware enough to know that he wants to do better. He loves playing for this club. He knows that he's made mistakes. He knows he's young. He knows he's inconsistent and wants to do better and compete to be the number 9 for Chelsea. Now, I think there will be a lot of opportunities for Jackson next season as a left winger and as a striker. And I feel like there will be a lot of pressure on Liam Delap coming in, which it may come from the fans more than the club, because they understand he's young, he's raw, he's talented, he has played a season in the Prem. He's also leading the line for Chelsea. That is a lot of pressure, knowing that we've had a very poor list of forwards in the last, 10 years since Diego Costa, really, when you think about it. We've had some okay ones in between. But there's a lot of pressure on Delap, and I feel for Jackson, there's also pressure for him to develop and learn. But I feel like some of that pressure gets taken off with the entrance of someone like Liam Delap and potentially a Hugo Ekitike or another number 9 that we try and bring in to have that revolving 3 as, fighting for the number 9 position. I think this is really good news. Jackson could quite easily throw his toys out the pram, want to leave because he wants guaranteed first team football. But you can see how much it means to him when he plays well, still looks frustrated when he comes off, when he's upset and frustrated when he does get taken off for not playing well. He takes it to heart, and that's because he wants to better himself. I think he's a very talented player in Nicolas Jackson. We love what he brings to the team in terms of the hold-up plays, link-up play. He's an absolute nuisance. He needs to learn the offside role, and if he could strike a ball and finish, he would be unbelievable, because we've seen so many glimpses of it. The start of last season, he was on fire. Him and Cole Palmer's link-up was unbelievable. And yes, he tailed off, then he had that injury and that silly red card at the end of the season, so it was a bit of a weird season. In the first season, we could see that his hold-up play, link-up play, it got better in the second season, but in the first season, we could see the signs of this. It was just he couldn't finish. That was it. It was the only part of his game. It was like, if he could score, he'd be a world beater. And I feel like that will come over the seasons, and I feel like this season coming is going to be very, very pivotal for his development, whether he is, now he's got competition, how is he going to deal with that? And if sources close to him are saying that he's happy where he is and he wants to fight for his position, I am very excited to see what version of Nicolas Jackson we see next season. Because if Delap comes in, you get like an Ekitike or someone along those lines, as well as Jackson, will fight for that number 9, and Jackson still gets picked because he's outperforming those players, then we are laughing as Chelsea fans, because we know how good he can be if he could finish. That's the only thing he needs to improve on. And if he's got that competition mindset of, I want to be the number 9, I want to be the best, I want to play all the minutes possible, and he starts banging in goals and getting assists even more than he has been, we're laughing. We are laughing. So I'm super excited to know that Jackson is, relishing in the chance and the opportunity to be like, I'm happy, I want to play here, I'm ready to compete, let's go get it, because this is going to be very, very pivotal going into next season. And I would love to know your thoughts about Nicolas Jackson overall down below. Do you think that this season is really going to be the one that kicks on for him, like make or break, in a sense of, is he really going to develop and thrive under this competition, or is he going to fold and he's just going to see the same old Jackson we've seen last season? Let me know your thoughts down below about that. And regarding Guiu, just quickly, I feel like a loan spell would do him a world of good. There are heavy links with Guiu going to Ipswich, and I feel like he would thrive in the Championship. I think he would bag goals and he would really develop his game. It's a very, very physical league. There's a lot of games to be played, a lot of competition within the Championship as well. Even though it's not the top flight of English football, there are many, many football fans that say the Championship is better than the Premier League purely because of the amount of teams, the amount of games, the things that can change, the things that can be competed for down in that division. And I see it, I hear it. I think that it's a very, very competitive league. So I feel like Guiu would absolutely thrive in a championship club. Obviously, if he could get Premier League football, that'd be amazing. But we do seem to forget he is only 19 years old. So if he could go to a championship club, really establish himself and score a bag full of goals, it's going to give him the world of confidence. It's going to develop his game even more. And I think it just does him the world of good. And it means Chelsea keep him on the books, which is ultimately what we want for the future. So let me know your thoughts about Marc Guiu going on loan as well. Fabrizio Romano has reported via DAZN Football that Chelsea had direct contact with Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike in the last 48 hours and were told 100 million euros. Chelsea believe he would be the perfect addition to their squad and are still there. Let's see if they can include some player or if the price drops. Plettigol have also reported that Chelsea are currently working on a verbal agreement with Hugo Ekitike. There has already been initial contact with Frankfurt, who are still demanding £84 million. It remains open whether Chelsea and Frankfurt will reach an agreement. This seems to be heating up and not going away, and I said this in previous videos. I feel like we will secure Hugo Ekitike at some point in this summer transfer window. And I'm quite happy with it. The more I learn about him, the more I look into him, not just the stats side of it, just watching him play, the highlights of what he can offer as a player. I am fairly excited in terms of the dynamics that he can bring to Enzo Maresca's Chelsea with Nicolas Jackson and Liam Delap. Even between those two, there is a huge dynamic shift in terms of how they play. Liam Delap's very physical. He bullies centre-backs. He can strike a ball very well. Both feet, natural finisher, right? Jackson, he is a nuisance, making those runs in behind, the link-up play, dropping short to receive the ball and then, getting part of the play going forward. Massive difference alone in those two players. You then add a Hugo Ekitike who can play on that left-hand side, drifting in, can play centrally, can drop deep, can make runs in behind, good with the ball at his feet, very technical, can obviously finish as well, set up and create jobs, create chances. If you have those three together, that is an unbelievable melting pot of goals and assists across a season. Whether or not you have one striker that gets you 25 goals or you have all three that all contribute 15 each. At the end of the day, I don't really care as long as Chelsea are scoring goals, winning games, and we're not missing the amount of chances that we are currently missing from the chances we create. If that could be cut down, we're all laughing. We score so many more goals, we win so many more matches because of that. So I honestly feel like this deal is going to happen. I don't feel that it's going to be £84 million, even though Frankfurt have said that they're willing to do a variable payment option where it's over a long period of time. I think that's just to entice Chelsea to be like, oh, okay, we'll spread it over 4 or 5 years or whatever, because you've done that in the past with players like Mudryk and Enzo Fernandez, etc. I don't think Chelsea are going to fall for it this summer. I feel like they're going to be a lot more shrewd. They seem to be in this market. They want to go after people or players that improve their squad significantly, who can still develop into better players or world-class players, but are still at a very good standard where they can walk in. The Maresca ticked players in terms of they've broke profiles, footwork with the system, and are going to improve the current Chelsea squad. I don't think they're going to overpay. Now, if they could get a verbal agreement between the player himself and Chelsea, that's huge, because then the player can start pushing for a move and it can kind of force Frankfurt's hand in terms of their asking. 100 million euros is a lot of money, or £84 million. It's a lot of money for Ekitike. Again, he had a good season, 22 goals, 12 assists in 48 games. No one's knocking that. There has been this history of Bundesliga players not playing well for Chelsea in the Premier League. Yes, I totally understand that. But I feel like we're not signing him to be an out-and-out 9. We're signing him as that third striker in rotation that can play out wide, drift inside, can play as a support striker, can play as at number 9, and have that mixture. He's not a Delap. I see Delap as the out-and-out 9. He's there to score goals. We create chances, just finish him off. And he's still developing. He's still raw. What is he, 22 years old? He's going to get better. He's not going to come in and get 30 goals this season. He's just not going to do that. And if he does, happy to be proved wrong. All right, happy to be proved wrong. But we're not expecting that of him. But between him and Jackson competing for that position between them, there will be more goals naturally because of the competition between them. So I feel like this is going to happen. I feel like Ekitike will clearly want the move. I feel like Chelsea really want the player. He ticks a lot of boxes. I just feel like they're going to have to move on that price tag. I don't feel like we will pay £84 million. But I would love to know your thoughts down below. Do you see the vision of Delap, Ekitike and Jackson all in rotation in Enzo Maresca's squad throughout the season, scoring a collective big amount of goals and creating a lot of chances that we can finish off? Or do you really not want Ekitike and want to focus on a gunman like Osimhen or Gyökeres or someone along those lines who's just a prolific finisher? Very curious to know your thoughts. Chelsea FC are delighted to announce the signing of Liam Delap. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm so excited. The more I see this signing, Liam looks good in a Chelsea shirt, doesn't he? Let's be honest. The more this has kind of been going on, the more I've warmed to it. Even from like the rumours going through, I'm like, do you know what? Delap would be a fantastic signing. He is a fantastic player. It makes sense. Seeing him in the kit, seeing the announcement video, I'm like, yeah, I'm gassed. I'm gassed. I want to see what he can do in a Chelsea shirt, right? We are going to continue to talk about Liam, about what he said about signing for Chelsea, and also his shirt number has officially been confirmed. We'll definitely talk about that because it was not what I was expecting. I thought he'd be wearing what he would normally wear, but apparently not. But I'm super excited to see how well Liam can do in a Chelsea shirt. He's a great striker. Again, there's a lot of people playing him down, saying that there's only 12 goals, a couple of assists in Ipswich, they got relegated. And I understand the surface level sight of that, because you go, well, they've been relegated, they can't be any good. I just don't feel like that's a true reflection on the abilities of the player. He's still young, he is developing, he's a natural finisher, something we've been missing for years. So having him just in the positions of the chances we create, yeah, he's not going to bag every single one, of course he's not, but it's going to be a hell of a lot higher of a conversion rate than we expect from him because of the sort of, him and Cole Palmer linking up. It's going to be goals for days. So I'm super excited, but let's talk about what Liam said about signing for Chelsea. He said, growing up watching this club, I understand the stature of it and how incredible it has been over the years. I wanted to come here to win trophies. When I spoke to the club, everyone wanted to get back to the very top. And they have the quality and the players to do that. The hunger and desire to keep adding trophies, to take the club back to it where it belongs, that is the main objective. Now look, very PR. We understand that. I'm happy he didn't say it's a dream to play here, because every player says that for every club they sign. I think it's Morata. Every time he signs for a club, I've always dreamed of playing for this club. And then he moves 6 months later, I've always dreamed of playing for this club. So I'm glad it's not that. But he's very right in what he's saying. And what that tells me is he's sold on the project. He's sold on the culture and the project that is currently brewing at Stamford Bridge, where Maresca's got his system, he's got his players. They have a connection from, Man City Academy and played very well under Maresca in that system. I think he got something like 20 plus goals in the Premier League 2 or the Division 4, the youth. Did very, very well. So he understands the manager. The manager's got a vision and a project and they're working towards it. We've secured Champions League football. We got a European trophy. It's very appealing for players. Liam Delap was part of a club that was relegated, wants to stay in the Premier League, didn't want to go to United. Chelsea have obviously offered him a pay rise and they're saying, look, you come in, you're our number 9 and we're making players like Jackson compete for your spot. He's hungry. He wants to win trophies. You want to be at a club like Chelsea. So I'm super happy what he's saying. Like I say, if you read between the lines, it seems like he understands the vision. He's bought into the project, wants to be a part of it, and he wants to win trophies. Imagine seeing the club that's interested in you go win a European trophy and you go, damn, that could be me next year. I don't know. I just think it works in our favour. So I'm super happy with that. It's not too PR-y. It kind of is, but not like massively like, oh, it's always been a dream to play here and blah, blah, blah. But the way he said it is like growing up watching this club, and I understand the stature of how incredible it's been over the years. I feel like for fans of Chelsea fans in general, I'd say of a certain age and sort of higher, we've also grown up and watched this at a certain age going up. And a lot of Chelsea fans have missed some trophies because they're not old enough, and that's fine. It's just how life works. But for a lot of the players growing up watching Chelsea be successful in the last 25 years, like massively successful, well, I think we forget how much of a dent that leaves, or an imprint that leaves in players' minds of thinking like, wow, man, what a force. They've won everything multiple times in the last 25 years. Why wouldn't I want to play there? And I feel like that has a lasting impression on players, which we're now starting to reap the benefits from in this sort of day and age, because the players that grew up watching us are now at the age where they're still developing, or they're a little bit older where they are developed players, and they're like, yeah, I'll go Chelsea. They pay well, even with a new wage structure, but they're always competing for trophies. And right now, it looks like we've got over that couple of years of absolute turmoil with the takeover and all the chaos that ensued between it, that we now look like we're out of that side and looking to progress backwards again, like back to where we were again. So players are like, yeah, of course, man. Yeah, 100%. Now is the right time to join. So I'm super happy with that. But let's go on to the number that Liam Delap has chose to play for Chelsea. Liam Delap will wear the number 9 shirt. Now, forget everything I just said. It was nice knowing you, Liam. I had high hopes for you, but, who else are we going in for? Oh, Liam. Now, this is either stupidity, ignorance, or pure confidence, and I'm hoping it's the latter. I really am, because anyone that Anyone that knows Chelsea knows the number 9 shirt is cursed. We should retire it, and not for good reason. It is a horror number for Chelsea players. And I've got a list of Chelsea players that have recently worn the number 9 shirt, and we will go through them together, because we don't want Liam Delap to be in the number 9 club. That's not what we want. Oh, Liam. He's chosen the number 9 shirt. And do you know what? Fair play to him. It's down to him to prove, break that curse. Maybe it is just a dark cloud that hangs over Stamford Bridge. Maybe it's just the Chelsea fans being very superstitious. I don't personally think so, because I look at the list of players that have worn the number 9 in my lifetime and think, wow, there's like 3 that have done well, if that. So I thought he was going to wear the 19 like he did wear at Ipswich, keep his number type thing. But no, he's going for the Chelsea number 9. Maybe he's got the vision for it. Maybe he's going to prove us all wrong. Let's hope so, because if you're wearing the number 9, you've basically said, I've come for the money. The curse is here. I'm living it. Or, like I said, it could be ignorance. He might not know that much about Chelsea in that terms of like, oh, it's cursed. Oh, really? I'm just a number 9. That's what I do. Fair enough. Or he's just like, yeah, let's join in on it. Let's join in on it. Be a cursed number 9 and just collect my paycheck until I'm sold on. I'm hoping it is the one where he's like, yeah, I know it's cursed, but I'm going to break it. I'm the player to break the curse. But let's take a look at the list of number 9s that we've had in the previous seasons. So, Hernan Crespo. I feel like he did okay. He was injured a little bit. I really liked Hernan Crespo, one of my favourite players ever. And the move for him was forced because his family weren't happy in London. So there was a lot to that. But, okay, he's on the list. Hernan Crespo. Matthias Kesman. I saw that guy score a penalty against Newcastle, and I think it was one of the very few goals he scored. Did play a vital part in the Chelsea 3-0 over Barcelona in the Champions League at Stamford Bridge, though. I will say that. But yes, regardless, Kesman as the number 9. Boularus wasn't even a striker. Steve Sidwell. Franco De Santo. Fernando Torres. I will not have any Fernando Torres slander, who's my favourite player of all time. That guy is incredible. And I'm not talking in a Chelsea shirt, I mean just his career. Unbelievable. And he repaid me with that £50 million goal against Barcelona in the semis. I don't care if we were already through. Just let me have my moment. Fernando Torres, Ramadal Falcao, Higuain. I forget Higuain played for Chelsea. That's how forgettable that moment in time was. Higuain, Tammy Abraham. He did all right, though. He got like 15 league goals in his full season when we had that transfer embargo. That's not too bad. Aubameyang and Lukaku. And it just says, good luck, Liam. Good luck, Liam. Oh, man, I'm hoping he can break this curse because... And there's the picture of him wearing the 9. It looks right, to be fair. It does look right. I'm just hoping he doesn't get caught in this group of players that have won the number 9. There's obviously been more, but this is just in recent times, right? That have not done well, because obviously you had like Hasselbank, who did incredibly well, etc. So let's just hope Liam Delap can break the Chelsea number 9 curse. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about Liam Delap signing for Chelsea. Do you think this is a good signing? Do you think he's going to kick on and do well? Do you think he's going to convert a lot of the chances that we create and at the moment miss? And what are your thoughts on him taking the number 9? Will he be the player to break the number 9 curse? Or will he be the player that is added to this long list of cursed number 9s at Chelsea? Curious to know your thoughts. And just quickly, while we are on shirt numbers, Chelsea have also announced this morning that Cole Palmer will move to the number 10 shirt ahead of the 25-26 campaign, starting from the FIFA Club World Cup. This is huge news when you read between the lines, because who currently wears the number 10? Well, I mean, Palmer now currently wears it, but who has been wearing the number 10 shirt? Mr. Mykhailo Mudryk, who hasn't been banned, can't play. This B sample's been all up in the air, doesn't exist, hasn't been tested, whatever. Been waiting pretty much the whole season to find out what the verdict is on Mykhailo Mudryk's future. Is this a signifier that he's probably out of the door because Chelsea you're just sitting around, we can't utilise you because things aren't being sorted? Or maybe they have the results, they haven't announced them publicly, and they're like, you can't play for 4 years. Bye. We want to get some sort of money back for you. I don't know. But will we hear some Mykhailo Mudryk news very soon because Palmer has moved to the number 10? Or is it just a simple thing of Palmer wanted the 10 this year and Mudryk went, I ain't using it. You can have it. I'll have whatever when I come back. Because I think Mudryk originally had didn't he have the 15 and then Jackson had the 15? I can't remember Mudryk's original number. Was he always the 10? I think he's always been the 10 because people questioned it, why. Regardless, the way I'm looking at it is Palmer as a 10. Again, it's going to be a new look. It's going to be a new look. I like it. It makes sense to me. I look at that shirt and I think it makes perfect sense. Palmer as a 10. Will that bring his unbelievable form back from that first season? Who knows? But it'll be very interesting to see Palmer as a 10 actually him wearing it and playing. But it makes a lot of sense to me. Like I said, it's more reading between the lines. Does this mean we're going to get Mykhailo Mudryk news very, very soon? I personally feel like we will hear some stuff about Mykhailo Mudryk this summer, and I have a feeling it's not going to be good news. But that's just my opinion. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Do you like Palmer wearing the number 10 shirt? Because I feel like he's made that 20 shirt very iconic because of his breakthrough season, what he's done for Chelsea so far. I don't know, it feels like his number. That's not a number we've really had in the past where that's really solidified as their number. Well, at least from my knowledge, from what I can remember right now as recording, but the 10 has a lot of weight to it. Your Eden Hazards, you've got loads of 10s over the years. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about Palmer being a number 10. Do you also feel like this will be Mykhailo Mudryk's exit for Chelsea this summer window? Breaking news from TalkSport this morning. West Ham have rejected a player plus cash deal from Chelsea for Mohamed Kudos. Chelsea were willing to offer the likes of Robert Sanchez and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall in exchange for the Ghana international. No wonder West Ham said no. Why would you... I get it. Offload them, bro. Get rid of them any way you can. But it would have been Robert Sanchez, Dewsbury Hall and 60 million. Let's be real. They want 85 million on his release clause, and they're not going to value Sanchez or Dewsbury Hall in that high of a regard. Maybe Dewsbury Hall. I think he'd do very well in a West Ham team, to be fair. He is very much a West Ham style of player. And to be fair, I think Dewsbury Hall has had some really good moments this season in the Chelsea shirt, especially in that Conference League campaign. But regardless, they ain't going to take Sanchez. Who's going to take Sanchez? That's going to be a rip his contract up, he's done type thing. And that's me just having a bit of banter, being a little bit harsh, really. But yeah, very interesting. Robert Sanchez and Dewsbury Hall and cash for Kudos, and West Ham has said no. Now, obviously, this has just come from TalkSport this morning. I don't know how reliable this is. I like to react to headlines and get your thoughts and opinions. Look, if we could get Mohamed Kudos, that would be incredible business. But I don't want to pay the 85 million that they're asking for in that first 10 days of July of his release clause. Whether we pursue him after that, because it may change, I don't know. It's clearly put there as a deterrent. But for West Ham to turn down 2 players plus cash, I don't think they want to get rid of Kudos. And I think that release clause is there as a deterrent. Just like when Newcastle said, anyone wants Isak, it's 120 mil plus. And people are like, okay, we're not going in for Isak this summer. I feel like it's very much like that. So it'd be very, very interesting to see how this develops and know how much money was offered on top of Sanchez and Dewsbury Hall. And just to see if there's any concrete sort of evidence to suggest this. So I thought this was very interesting, personally. I would love to know your thoughts. Would you take Mohamed Kudos in a Chelsea shirt? And do you feel like money plus Sanchez plus Dewsbury Hall would have been a good deal if that money was significant enough? Or do you think West Ham were right to turn it down? What would your counter offer be if you were at Chelsea right now? Let me know in the comments. If Robert Sanchez, Dewsbury Hall and money was turned down, what would be your counter offer? And finally, John Obi Mikel has spoken about Victor Osimhen's transfer, and it looks like the Victor Osimhen to Chelsea dream could be finally over. I could be wrong, but I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to speak to you about it, especially in the comments, and have a conversation. But John Obi Mikel has said that I don't want to see him in Saudi right now because he still has so much to offer in Europe. It would be a shame to see him go there. And I totally agree. I feel like a player of his age, what is he, 26? Yes, it's a big bag, don't get me wrong. But he's got so much to offer. Yes, he's asking for ridiculous wages. And there's a lot of clubs that are like, we want to go in for you, man. We'll pay the release clause, but we're just not paying the wages. It's wild in today's football market, right? Juventus, Chelsea, Arsenal, we've all said similar things. Like, we want to sign him. We'll pay the release clause. That's fine. Not paying 400 grand a week just so you, like after tax you can pocket more in the countries that he wants to, who he will be playing for. But he has said a little bit more. John Obi Mikel goes on to say, I don't think Chelsea is getting Victor Osimhen now. We've gone in for a different route. We've got in Delap now. I hope he comes in and helps the team as well. Now, look, I like Mikel and I like the whole Osimhen drama. I think it's a fantastic sort of, drama. It's something to sink your teeth into. Is the gossip. Is will it, won't it happen, right? And a lot of fans are done with it. I get it. I just love talking about it, 'cause the what if scenarios, and we've been hunting Osimhen for, since last year, going into this season. He's still, the club are still interested. He's trying to be convinced. There's a lot of factors going into it. He had Mr. P Square talking about it. You've got Mikel constantly talking about it on TalkSport and other his own platforms and stuff. And I just don't see Chelsea going for Victor Osimhen if we're hugely in with Hugo Ekitike, sorting out a verbal agreement and trying to negotiate a transfer fee with Frankfurt. We've just signed Delap. I think those will be the two forwards. You've got Delap and you've got Hugo Ekitike and Jackson. And as a front three, like I said, combining over the season, I feel like that is good enough to not win us leagues, win us Champions Leagues, no, but progress even further, cement us into that top four, maybe have a period of the season where we are challenging for the title just a little bit longer than what we did this season, and, you know, just solidify ourselves as a top four team again and compete across the cups as well. So I'm not saying not go in to not win the Champions League, still give it a good go. Chelsea is a club that if you're in a cup, you go to win it, 100%. So I feel like it's definitely an improvement. You know, having just Nicolas Jackson to then having Delap and Ekitike on top is a huge improvement regardless. It would have been very, very nice to get a Gyökeres or an Osimhen. Now, Gyökeres isn't off the table. This just looks like Osimhen is off the table. And I think it could be hugely down to his wages. And I feel like a lot of clubs haven't pursued him because of the wages. And I feel like the only place you can go is Saudi because of the wages. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Victor Osimhen remains high in Al Hilal's list as a new striker, with talks ongoing to bring the Nigerian forward. €75 million release clause available, and Al Hilal are working on a player side for a target now as approved by Simeone Inzaghi. This just kind of feeds into more that Osimhen is going to Saudi. The money is there for him. If he wants to go for the high wages, wants to go for the weather, to score a ridiculous amount of goals, earn the bag, I don't blame him. He's 26, he can go there for 3 years, earn generational wealth, and then he is 29 years old, can still secure a move where he does take that wage cut, because after the Saudi, no one's going to touch you in the wages. There was reports suggesting that Saudi were offering him something like €45 million a year, which is absolutely wild. Galatasaray were also rumoured to offer him around 13 to 17 million euros a year as well, which is a lot of money, especially after tax. He still pockets a lot of money, right? So with old Big Rom, or Fabrizio, reporting, it looks like it is still very much on the cards that he will remain a target for Al Hilal and the Saudi clubs, and they want to try and secure him. No issue with the 75 million release clause, so I assume that Napoli will be happy with that. It's just about personal terms between Osimhen and Al Hilal in terms of the wages. And so it looks like the Victor Osimhen to Chelsea dream is over. So one of the doors has shut on the Victor. I mean, again, it could be proven wrong. Chelsea could just go in there and go, right, let's just get this done, bosh, done. It could happen, right? It's not over till it's over. But it looks like the door is very much closing on Victor Osimhen to Chelsea. However, things have gone suspiciously quiet for Victor Gyökeres in the last few weeks. The last that we heard was a report saying he's made his mind up and he wants to go to England this summer. That's about as much as we know, right? So, unfortunately, Chelsea fans, it looks like Victor Osimhen to Chelsea will not be happening. But I would very much like to know your thoughts down below. Do you think this is a good move for Osimhen to go secure the bag? You know, be the player that he feels like he's worth of like 400 grand a week or whatever it was that he's demanding for these European clubs? Or do you think he's making a mistake going to Saudi at this age, and he should be reducing his wage expectations to move to a European club, you know, where it is a Juventus or it is a Chelsea or an Arsenal? Very curious to know your thoughts about this, because I'm in the camp of, look, they're very short careers, make your bag. Do you know what I mean? If you're being offered generational wealth, it's a certain type of person that's willing to turn that down. Let's be real about that. You have to be a certain type of person to go, I'm good, thanks. I don't want generational wealth. And again, I don't think a lot of clubs can compete with Saudi in that sense, unless the player is strictly focused on winning the top European trophies, top leagues in the world, and that is their focus. They don't really care about the money. That just comes with being an exceptional player. That's kind of the only caveat to it, right? We have seen, you know, players like Reece James turn down Real Madrid. Who doesn't turn that route? Not many people turn that down, but Reece was like, I love Chelsea, I want to play here, I want to captain the team, I want to win trophies here. So he's gone and done that. You know, it's certain type of players. Is Victor Osimhen one of those players? I don't know. Very curious to know your thoughts down below about this entire Victor Osimhen to Chelsea dream over saga. Will he end up in Saudi? And that's all the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported. I love having a conversation with you guys down in the comments. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.